Hello BookTube, it's been a while. I have a myriad of excuses for you. Okay, so it was Inktober, which is where I draw a lot of art and drawings, one a day at least. Also, I went on holidays and I sprained my ankle really bad and my anxiety started playing up, and the universe just seemed to be basically against everything, and everyone around me seemed to be having quite a bad time as well. So it's just been a chaotic few, how long's it been? Weeks? A few weeks? 3-4 weeks? But the good news is I'm here now and I have about 3 videos that I'm going to film for you today. Oh, I got RSI from drawing too much, and it's also NaNoWriMo now, so it's from typing too much, it's all inflamed and sore. Nevertheless, I managed to read 3 books in the 3 weeks. 4 books actually, one of which I will talk about now. I can't remember what it was called. Oh, that's terrible. It was one that my sister-in-law had borrowed and couldn't read because her glasses wouldn't fit her head because she had a swollen bee sting, among many other things. But she borrowed this book from the library and she was like, "Span, read this for me and then tell me everything about it." So I did that, and I thought it was going to be about awesome, and she thought too that it was going to be about awesome mermaids and fantastical supernatural things, but it was about this traveling circus and then also like depression. So it was actually more about drowning girls, which was interesting because it had a drowning girl on the cover, and I was like, well, at least, you know, at least it ties in with the terrible cover that it had. But the one thing that annoyed me terribly was that the girl in the front character had blonde hair, and every single mermaid character in the book had dark hair. How did that get through? Okay, so now that rant's over, that book was, it wasn't the happiest of books, but it ended up okay in the end, and I pushed through to get all the way through it. I kept thinking something mystical was going to happen and it didn't, which did irritate me a little bit, but overall the book was quite good. The other 3 books that I read in this time were, finally, Reasons to Stay Alive by Matt Haig. If you don't want that, just throw it on the floor. The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, and obviously Turtles All the Way Down. I honestly can't remember which order I read them in, so I'm not going to be able to give you a chronological, I read this one, then this one, then this one. So I'm just going to start with Reasons to Stay Alive by Matt Haig, which I have been looking for quite some time. I follow Matt Haig on Twitter and he is just like the only reason I'm ever on Twitter. He explores depression and his anxieties and what his experience of the world is, and it was just so incredibly relatable. His anxiety got worse and worse and worse, and his depression set in, and he just sort of disassociated from all of a society, and that was just so familiar to me. I really enjoyed the writing style of this. So funny and so depressing at the same time, and that's just everything to me. I like it too because it's short and it's got a lot of positivity in there, even though it's expressing a lot of sad emotions and a lot of strange mindsets that he's in. It also underlines this positivity of life. It's very personal, and I feel like I want to write a book like this. The book I want to write, I want it to be a cross between First We Make the Beast Beautiful and Reasons to Stay Alive. That would just be my ideal anxiety book that I want to write about. I'm not sure if I'll ever get around to doing that, but I have started it. I have, and these 2 books really help shape the idea of what I want my book to be, and self-expression. This book is just full of such incredible self-expression, and I just really relate and love that. I promise that I write better than I talk. I would recommend Reasons to Stay Alive not just for people who have mental disorders, who have anxiety or depression, people who are terrified of taking medication like myself, just for everyone, because it really gets into the mindset, and I think people who don't experience mental illness will be like, oh, okay, maybe that's kind of what that feels like, I sort of understand now. Or they'd be like, what the hell, no one really thinks like that. And let me assure you, yes, some people do. And it says a lot about me. So then, like every other person on earth, I'm sure, I picked up Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. And I loved it. I liked it better than his other ones because it's not quite as depressing. I really liked how he describes the spiral and the thought patterns, and again, it's a mental health book more than anything else. It really suckered me in and I really enjoyed the characters. Sometimes I get stuck in these thought spirals as well, and it was really interesting because she focuses her anxiety into gut bacteria and microbiome and her fear of germs, and just basically that what you eat and how you think kind of are connected. I definitely feel they're connected, and I only learnt all of this, and I know so much more that I just can't express here in this tiny little video about a book that's completely unrelated, but all of that has been floating around in my mind for months, and then I pick up this book which really dwells on that, and that just seemed very, very coincidental. So that was super interesting, fun book, easy read, I quite enjoyed it. And then, thanks to BookTube, I also picked up The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue. I've seen it floating around quite a bit, and I thought, oh hey, that seems like a fun bisexual book, let's pick that up, and oh my god, was I not disappointed. I loved it so, so, so much. It's a period drama, and it's got pirates, it's got travel, it's got everything, and the little sister is just the most badass character ever. I love her. I really, really love Percy. I'm just completely in love with Percy from this book. I went into it with high expectations and I came out like elated with it. I think the writing style itself is really poetic, it's poetry, and that in itself is a sell for me, and the fact that all of the characters were fantastic and all of the storyline just flowed perfectly and I wasn't disappointed in any stage was just perfect. This is, if I was to give 5 stars, it will be to this book. It was magnificent. It's worth a reread. I don't reread books very often, but I kind of want to pick this one up again already, so that's just singing wonders for this book. So that's my recent reads slash wrap up thing. So I'm still also currently reading June. Just started the second book of June. Still reading, although I haven't really started, The Blinding Knife by Brent Weeks. And once I start, I fear I'm not going to put it down, so I'm just getting other things out of the way first before I can really delve into this. And also, I'm still got my hands on The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo because I want to like it. I really want to like it. So yes, that's my currently reading. Those were my recent reads, and I will see you again in the next video very, very soon. Alright, thanks for watching everybody. How do you turn this thing off?